right here. The juxtaposition between Joe Burrow, a real Super Bowl caliber quarterback, a franchise quarterback who walked up to the line, audibled, threw dimes, unbelievable pocket presence, unbelievable feel for what the defense was going to do, used his legs, stood up, and threw dime after dime down the field into tight windows, teardrops, throwing guys open, throwing the ball where no one could get their hands on it, never putting the ball in harm's way, taking advantage of opportunities, dicing them up. Joe Burrow's the real deal. And right now, Brock Purdy does not feel like the real deal. Turnovers, panicking late, fourth quarter fumbles. It has been a nightmare, and he played good for like 3 quarters of that game until that turnover. The defense is MIA. Right now, 888-957-9570. Line them up. I'm sorry, I hate to do this. It's the blame game time. Wilkes, the defense, Bosa, the quarterback, the offense. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. 48% of this team's defense, 48% of their salary cap is on defense. Top 6 players: Bosa, Hargrave, Armstead, Ward, Warner, Greenlaw. That's 48% of your salary cap. 6 guys right there. 25% on offense. And Debo's out and Trent's out. Trent makes the most on offense. And they look completely mediocre offensively. They can't run the ball. They can only throw when they're down multiple scores. I mean, they had 170 yards passing through 3 quarters. And then when they fell down 2 scores, they threw the ball more because Cincinnati backed off. Mixon ran right through their soul like I predicted he would. And they used Jamar Chase, and Zach Taylor deserves credit, like a chess piece, lining them up in the slot, clearing out linebackers. Oh, you want to put Charvarius Ward on him? Well, guess what? Charvarius Ward has more holds this year than CMC has touchdowns. How is that even possible?
You're on fire this morning, Jeff.
This team right now does not look like a Super Bowl contender. They don't even look like a playoff team right now. And you can say, Joe, and they lost to Cincinnati, that's fine. In a vacuum, yeah, I agree. Losing to Cincinnati is not the end of the world. It's the month of football that we've watched. And look, everyone's going to talk about the interceptions from Purdy, and believe me, there are Jimmy O-no throws. How about this? How about 2 fumbles in the Pittsburgh game? 1 in the Ram game, 1 in the Giant game, 1 in the Cleveland game, and 1 yesterday in the Cincinnati game. He's putting the ball on the floor. Yeah. It's not just the oh-no throws. He's putting the ball on the floor. And the freaking play, I'm telling you, the freaking play. Joey, I'm on fire right now. The freaking play that I can't unsee. Alex Smith rolled out left against Philadelphia on either a Sunday or a Monday night. The same night, Brooks Conrad had the horrible, boot of the ball on the Buster Posey ground ball. It was the same night. He rolled out left and tried to throw across his body. It was one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen in my life. Right there and there, I said, Alex can never play quarterback for me. I'm over it. Brock Purdy. It was a zone read play where he's supposed to hand the ball off to Eli Mitchell. And if he doesn't, he can option out and flip it to George Kittle. And they talked about it in the postgame. It's a 7-point game. You're in the red zone. It is first down late in the 3rd quarter. It essentially is the 4th. He doesn't hand to Eli. Mistake number 1. Pulls it back out. Doesn't flip to George Kittle. Maybe that was covered. That's fine. You want to say mistake 2? Fine. But mistake 2, rolling out, on that play, if you don't give it up to Kittle, you're going to have your offensive lineman downfield. So anytime you throw the ball, you're going to get a penalty. You got to slide and go down. That is quarterback 101. All the linemen are already out there blocking downfield. You got to slide. It's first down and goal. It's a 7-point game. And he throws it, and look, got to give the linebacker credit. Tips it up, catches it. It should have been a pick 6.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. Brock Purdy.
He got cracked in this game, too.
He did. No.
Cracked.
Well, and that head, there was a whiplash a couple times. You saw him grabbing his head. I got concerned for Brock late in that game. He finishes the game 22 of 31, 365, touchdown, 2 picks, and a lost fumble.
Oh, the yardage is hollow.
And this yardage
is late yardage.
This yardage is what's concerning. Brock Purdy's your leading rusher.
Well, hey, look, I'll give him credit. He was running his butt off.
That's
yesterday,
great.
And he threw a couple of really nice balls.
That's great. You ain't Lamar Jackson. You cannot be my leading rusher, dude. It's too small. 6 carries, 57 yards. Christian McCaffrey doubled the amount of carries, only 54 yards and a touchdown there. They can't run the ball.
What's their identity? Okay, through 5 weeks, it was suffocating defense, overpowering offense. The last 3 weeks. Now, this isn't like a one-game aberration. This is 3 weeks, Joe, against teams that I deem to be playoff caliber teams. Now, Minnesota, whatever you want to say about Minnesota.
Well, they were until they lost their quarterback in Kirk Cousins. They looked like a playoff
I think
team.
that they were going to probably sneak into one of those wild card spots, but whatever. This is who you are. And right now, these 3 weeks, you tell me what they are. Sloppy on defense where they miss tackles. Charvarius Ward holding left and right, penalized all over. Javon Kinlaw lining up off sides again. Another guy making a ton of money for no reason. And then offensively, you can't run the ball. You can't run the ball at all. You're a one wide receiver team right now in Brandon Ayuk. And this thing, like Brandon Ayuk is a number one. It's just like aces in baseball. There's only so many of them. Mike Evans is a number one. Justin Jefferson is a number one. I love Ayuk. He's a 1.5, meaning if he's your top dog, it's like, I love him as a 2. I love him as a 2. Don't love him as a 1. And that ball off his face mask, here's the other thing with Brock Purdy. And look, Brock's like, on the list of problems, it's Steve Wilks, it's these cornerbacks. Where is Bosa? Where is Javon Hargrave? What is going on? Where is this offensive line? Where's Shanahan's play calling? But Brock Purdy continues to roll out and throw back across the middle of the field. And he made a couple of nice throws. But, dude, you are flirting with disaster.
Yes.
And then he got cracked late in the game, and this goes back to player protection. I was apprehensive to see him play. Look, you made this big deal about insulating the quarterback room all offseason. Hey, we want to get QB2 is more important on this team than any other. And then it came the opportunity to protect this young man, and you don't, and his head hits the turf on that interception that gets called back. He had back-to-back turnovers, which were just horrific. His head hits the turf so bad. Do we care about our franchise quarterback or not? Or is he not your franchise quarterback?
888-957-9570. It is a Monster Monday brought to you by First 5 California. To learn 4 things you can do to overcome toxic stress, go to first5california.com. And it's also brought to you by Golden State Lumber, serving the Bay Area for 3 generations, I should say. When you succeed, we succeed. Visit goldenstatelumber.com. And also shout out Twitch, YouTube, Comcast's sex line, and YouTube and Twitch is brought to you by First NorCal Credit Union. 888-957-9570. Line them up. It's the blame game. Someone's got to take the blame. And quite honestly, it could be everyone. Steve Wilks, if you want to go out and blame him, okay, I'll hear it. He's not the only problem. Players got to make plays. Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Hufanga, Charvarius Ward, all these people need to make plays. They're not making them. You know what? You were talking about the identity of this team. There is an identity. They're front runners. That's the identity of this team right now. This is a front-running team right now. They feel like it the last few weeks.
Did I crown Brock and the team just way too soon? I feel very foolish.
It looks like a team that was listening to all the outside noise and was buying the hype. That's what it looks like right now.
He did look good though. Like that's the thing that I'm frustrated with. Like I'm like good is even. He looked amazing.
I've seen a Jimmy Garoppolo type of performance like I saw yesterday multiple times.
I know.
Where he looked great at times. Wow, look at that throw from Jimmy. Whoa, look at that. Oh. And then you do what you can't do. Turn the ball over. And that's why I'm having a hard time solely like crushing the defense and Steve Wilks, which is what a lot of people want to do today. They gave up 31 points. Now,
yeah, but they can't get a stop. But there were like 30 first downs. It's timely stops. They can't get timely stops.
Part of that is they're on the field, though, a lot, too.
No, I agree.
Part of that is they're gassed because they keep turning the ball over on offense. Well, you got to help. Like, this is the thing. It's the Niners are at their best, Joe, and you can argue with this if you want, but you probably agree with it. They're at their best when they got a lead to play with.
Well, they can't throw from behind.
They can't. That's the definition of a front-running team.
I know. Their drop-back passing game is – I've been saying this all year. Have you been listening? Their drop-back passing
I've been listening.
Okay, on the interception. Now, I know they run that play a lot, but, like, if you watch that, the 2 wide receivers are so close to each other, okay? I don't even know who he was throwing to, the back receiver or on the final interception. Bro, I'm sorry. That was going to get picked 99.9999% of the time. And he got lucky on a couple other throws that were tipped that should have been picked as well. And again, Purdy made plays because he was under duress. It wasn't like he was trash all game. But these fourth quarters, he is collapsing in the fourth quarter. This is now a trend. 1 week, all right, aberration. 2 week, all right, now we're, all right, something's up. 3 weeks in a row. And again, the interceptions, the Jimmy Ono throws are headlining it. But what about the 2 fumbles versus Pittsburgh, the 1 versus the Rams, the 1 versus the Giants, 1 versus Cleveland, and yesterday against Cincinnati after his head hit the ground? I mean, the poor guy, his head snapped so bad on that interception that got called back. Joe, they're in deep doo-doo. They've got 2 weeks to point fingers, and everyone wants to point it at the coordinator. And look, I don't even know if the coordinator's good or bad. Like, whatever. Players got to make plays. Come on. 50% of this salary cap is in 6 guys on defense. And 20% is Bosa. Now, I know he caused a couple pressures where Armstead stepped up and made sacks. But on the final drive that mattered for Cincinnati, he completely whiffs on that. Mixon just, and just jukes him out of his chest. Bosa is on a milk carton.
It's on a milk carton. 888-957-9570. We want to hear from you. Call or text the Comcast Business text line.
3 in a row.
3 losses in a row.
Second place in the NFC West.
They're no longer first.
I'm sorry, Joey. I'm cooking.
No, we're not. And Bonte was talking about it last week, and we're going to be talking about it all week long. It ain't a lock that you're even going to be a number 1 or 2 seed anymore. I'm not even talking about that. Can you even win your division? That's a serious question.
3 things I don't ever want to hear again, and I'm guilty of this. I don't ever want to hear Joe Montana's name ever uttered by anyone in Bay Area ever again. You know what Joe was? Joe was the freaking comeback kid. That's what Joe Montana was. You know what the Niners can't do? Come back to save their life. If they're down 7, game is over. You might as well simulate the rest of the game. If they're down 7 in the fourth quarter, the game is over.
8 points.
Period.
Kyle Shanahan has never overcome an 8-point deficit in the fourth quarter.
I don't ever want to hear
ever.
Joe Cool's name uttered in relation to any 49er quarterback until that guy wins a Lombardi.
Well, yeah.
Never again. I'm guilty of it. I'm yelling at myself. Second thing, I don't want to hear about last year's Depoy. I don't want to hear about him at all.
What have you done for me lately?
He's done nothing. He got the bag and has evaporated. All right? I don't want to hear about excuses. You missed out on camp. Everything went wrong there. The team, him, you could call it whatever. They miscalculated that entire thing. Last thing I don't want to hear about the Super Bowl. I don't want to hear about Philadelphia. I don't want to hear about the Super Bowl. You have unearned the right for me to discuss you as a Super Bowl caliber team.
You got the Jaguars coming in off of bye. Well, you're going to them 10 a.m. Sunday, November 12th. They got to figure things out. What do you do during this bye week? What is it? Like, you go out there, you rest for a little bit, you relocate. Like, I'm looking at Deebo Samuel and Trent Williams, 2 major pieces that were off. So you can look at that and be like, hey, if they come back, and Trent Williams specifically, because they can't run left right now,
How many All-Pros does this offense need to score? They need 5, 6,
well,
7?
those are huge. Like, Trent Williams is a massive
I'm paying
piece.
the coach $20 million who says he's one of the top guys. You know what I watched the Rams do? Win some big games without Cooper Kupp, an All-Pro player. All right? Figure it out.
Figure it out.